Good afternoon. Exclusive data obtained by the BBC suggests there's been a substantial rise in dog attacks across the northeast and Cumbria. The number of injuries caused by dogs has risen by 50% in Cumbria over 4 years. Data obtained from Freedom of Information requests to police forces also shows the increase was 40% or more in Durham, Northumbria and North Yorkshire. The last resort for dangerous dogs is to have them put down, but dog rescue centres say the dogs can be rehabilitated, and it's cruelty and neglect by bad owners that's really to blame. Mark Denton reports from a dog sanctuary in Northumberland.
While the number of dog attacks and injuries has increased in the region, places like this say an important factor is a lack of responsibility among owners. This is SHAC, that stands for Safe Homes and Kindness. It is a dog sanctuary near Alnwick, and it helps dogs who have been abused, neglected and are about to be put down.
I don't believe there's a bad dog. I think it's experience and sort of that the dogs have had and situations they've been in. So again, maybe it's a lack of socialisation. Maybe it's just the wrong breed in the wrong hands, the wrong home. But like everything, it's something that's developed over time for a reason rather than something that's born aggressive or born nasty.
So what do you put down these increases in these figures to when you see them?
I think a lot of it, lockdown has had a big effect on it because obviously the shelters and things were closed. So you had a lot of people going and buying puppies or bringing dogs in from abroad, which, as I've said earlier, I'm not against that. But it's obviously these dogs have been living on the streets abroad, so they haven't necessarily been in homes. Puppies, they've been buying breeds that maybe aren't suitable for that particular home. And obviously then everybody goes back to work. And you've got a situation where the dogs are left on their own. And like anything, they get bored, they get stressed, they get frustrated, they get upset. And that's when these behavioural patterns can start to develop.
Now, the National Police Chiefs Council say they are cracking down on people who own or breed dangerous dogs, and that anyone with information should contact the police. Mark Denton, BBC North, near Alnwick.
Exclusive data obtained by the BBC suggests there's been a substantial rise in dog attacks across the northeast and Cumbria. There were more than 1,000 attacks in 2022. That's a 45% increase in just 4 years. Well, today, one dog sanctuary in Northumberland called for a return to a national licensing system that was last used over 30 years ago. Well, our news correspondent Mark Denton's been looking at the figures. And Mark, this is a truly disturbing set of statistics, isn't it?
Truly disturbing. The figures don't come from Freedom of Information requests put in by the BBC to all the police forces across the country, asking about the number of injuries caused by dogs. Now, they've gone up across our region, actually. They've risen by half in Cumbria over 4 years. Other Freedom of Information requests to police forces show the increase was 40% or more in Durham, Northumbria and North Yorkshire. Now, of course, tragically, cases of serious injury and people dying when they're killed or seriously hurt by dogs, they always catch the headlines. But I've been discovering the emotional upset and financial impact of these incidents is also very significant. Navia was attacked by 2 other dogs on Redcar Beach. After a series of emergency operations costing thousands of pounds, Navia survived. But just listen to owner Marie's relief. Marie and her daughter were also attacked by the dogs.
When I was on that beach, I was fearing for my life. It wasn't just about obviously trying to get them off Navia. That was the first thing, but it was also trying to make sure that my little girl was safe and shouting to other people to get these children off the beach and things like that. It was horrific. I'm going for owners to be responsible for their dogs as well, so that if their dog does bite somebody or bite another animal, that they are responsible and they're held accountable and there's criminal charges pressed.
Steve runs this dog sanctuary near Alnwick that looks after dogs that have been abused, mistreated and neglected. He says dog licensing, scrapped in 1987, needs to return.
I don't believe there's a bad dog. I think it's experience and sort of that the dogs have had and situations they've been in. So again, maybe it's a lack of socialisation. Maybe it's just the wrong breed in the wrong hands, the wrong home. You could go and just meet somebody in the pub and buy a dog for however much, or you could breed with your friend's dog because you have the same breed of dogs, and obviously to make money, and that's where the problems sort of come from, because it's so easy to have, or you can get rid of a dog or kick a dog out and then just go and get one the next day from somewhere else.
The National Police Chiefs Council say they're cracking down on all those who own or breed dangerous dogs and ask anyone with information to contact them.
And Mark, it's strange really, but the number of dog attacks is increasing by a higher rate than the increase in the number of dogs.
Yeah, those figures don't seem to match. A 34% increase in dog attacks across Britain between those 4 years, 2018 to 2022. But actually, during that same period, there's only a 15% increase in the number of dogs. The police say part of this is down to the fact that they are looking for that crime. They're looking for that problem more by putting specialist officers on it. But while a dog that causes death or injury, well, that's got to be reported to the police, an injury to a person. If it attacks another dog or another animal, that doesn't have to be reported to the police. So essentially, shocking figures today, but there could be an underestimate of the whole problem.
Yeah, really frightening. Thank you very much, Mark.
BBC Radio Newcastle. And I would definitely love to hear from you. The number to call is 0800 234 6565. You can text 81333. Start your message at BBC. Now, exclusive data obtained by the BBC suggests a huge rise in dog attacks here in the North East. Now, Freedom of Information request shows the number of injuries recorded by the police that were caused by dogs have risen by 46% in the Durham area. And Northumberland Police over the past 4 years have been talking about this. We heard earlier on from Keith Richards, who is a window cleaner in North Tyneside, who was bitten just last month. Actually, we're going to hear from him just now.
I went walk my dog for his evening walk. I seen like this dog going for my dog. I managed to pull mine out of the way to let them past, and then they just went for my dog. It was started pulling really aggressively, and unfortunately the lady couldn't hold it. It was too powerful, and I put my dog on top of the car to protect him. It just savagely attacked us, you know. People were trying to help, but they were just getting chased back into the house by the dog because it was trying to attack them. It bit us about five or six times, something like that. I mean, I just bought a new jacket which is sort of ripped to pieces, you know. I had a big bite under my arm, which the plastic surgeons were worried about that I might need plastic surgery on. And then I had one on my back shoulder blade, and then I think it was 3 big sort of deep marks on me side and me back. But I'm just really glad that it wasn't some old pensioner or a small child, because it would have been killed, and so would the dog.
Oh, he was so lucky there. That's Keith Richards, window cleaner from Wallsend in North Tyneside. It was really badly bitten just last month. We did approach Northumbria Police for a comment about this attack on Keith, and they told us this.
At around 8:40pm on February the 14th, police received a report a dangerous dog had bitten a 44-year-old man who was walking on Merlin Crescent in North Tyneside. He was left with injuries to his right-hand side. The group with the dog then left the scene without assisting the man. An investigation has been launched, and anybody with information is asked to contact police using the Tell Us Something page.
And Keith is one of hundreds of people who are attacked each year by dogs here in the North East. So the big question is, why does this happen, and why are such attacks increasing? Now, Northumberland reporter Joe Lonsdale has been to talk to Stephen Wiley. Now, he runs a charity called Shack in Northumberland, which stands for Safe Homes and Kindness. And they take on dogs which would otherwise have been put to sleep.
Well, I've had a look around the kennels and met some of the dogs. Got quite a noisy welcome. Stephen, just tell me a little bit about Shack.
Certainly, yeah. Shack was a charity that I set up about 17 years ago, and it's to provide basically a safety net for dogs that wouldn't have anywhere else to go. So that's basically vets put to sleep cases and things like that for various reasons. It can be behavioural problems, but it can also be health problems and injuries and things like that.
And you have a policy here that you never put a dog down.
That's correct, yeah. We just believe that they all deserve a chance, and you can see where we are. We're in beautiful surroundings. It's a really nice, relaxed and calm life for them. As you say, we had sort of piano music playing and things like that, so they actually enjoy their days here, I think, rather than sort of a standard kennel environment.
We've seen this big increase, Stephen, in dog attacks. First of all, why might a dog attack someone or another dog?
It is what it is in terms of, you know, that it's a natural behaviour. However, I think the key to it is spotting the signs and everything beforehand, and look at the circumstances. Look at why has it happened, what has changed, what is, you know, is there a new child in the house, a new partner, has your work routine changed? Because dogs are sociable and they are creatures of habit. One of the things I always get told, the dog, though, it bit us for no reason, but there was a reason, you just didn't actually see the signs.
Why do you think we've had this increase in the number of dog attacks?
I think it's a bigger problem. I think since lockdown, a lot of people got dogs mainly from abroad, potentially because the UK rescue centres were closed. And these dogs are dogs that have come off the street. I mean, we've helped Romanian. I've got a Romanian dog at home that came across that was going to get put to sleep. And it's, you have to, again, understand where the dog's been and that it doesn't know what a house and things is. But I think the biggest problem is people have been buying dogs and buying puppies and of breeds that they're just not fully aware of, perhaps. Don't understand the traits of the breed and what the breed's capable of. We've seen a big increase of Malinois, for example, coming into rescue, which are Belgian Shepherds, and they're used by police and the army and things like that, but people are buying them as domestic pets, and they're very intelligent dogs, and, you know, they need stimulation and they need work. They're not domestic pets. So I think it's people choosing the wrong breeds for their circumstances, really.
What advice would you give somebody who's perhaps got a dog that has a tendency to bite?
I think if it's a sudden change of behaviour, have a look at what's changed in the dog's routine, in the dog's life. What are you doing differently? Seek professional help, because there is professional help out there, some very good behaviourists and trainers. But invest in the time and look at what you've done that's different.
So there's no such thing, in your view, as a bad dog?
Personally, I'd say no. There are some bad owners and bad situations, unfortunately. But no, I think the dog's just there to please you, really.
Oh, it's really interesting to look at that side of it. That's our Northumberland reporter, Joe Lonsdale, talks to Stephen Wiley from Northumberland charity Shack. They save dogs who would otherwise be put down. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. I mean, I guess everyone's got a different opinion. If you are a dog owner and maybe your dog's bit someone, you know, it's heartbreaking, but where do you go from there? And it's interesting to think that maybe they can be rehabilitated and trained a different way. I'd love to hear from you. 0800 234 6565. You can text 81333. Start your message. BBC, it's Kelly Scott here in for Matt, 16 minutes past 7, and I'm just checking out.